available, however, finding them isn't always easy. Using thoughtful and compassionate inquiry, our community resource navigators, which is what our 211 call takers are called, find out what is happening in a person's life to ensure their needs are met. There's a lot of flexibility in the nonprofit sector, a little bit more than we realize, and Nova Scotia 211 plays a vital role in connecting people to the services they need. For example, did you know that it can take up to 7 phone calls to find the social or community service that you might need? The problem is that when one person gets overwhelmed or frustrated or confused, they just stop trying to find the right resource, and as a result, their needs go unmet. 211 Nova Scotia is designed to help people navigate the complex network of over 4,000 community and social services available in our province. So why 211? This slide shows why 211 is an important service. So for choice, there's an overwhelming number of programs and services to sift through on the internet. For change, programs and services come and they go, and sometimes they do change. For example, due to COVID, a lot of services and programs have had to come to a halt. They've had to change up their services a little bit. A lot of people tend to get confused with the different levels of government and nonprofits available. There's a lot of misinformation regarding programs and services and who exactly is eligible for them. Not everyone has access to technology to do the research they need to do about different programs and services. A lot of people in Nova Scotia have literacy issues, so the internet isn't a good option for them. Navigating programs and services can be difficult because the name of the organization can be very different from what the organization actually does or what kind of programs or services it offers. So essentially, our service empowers the vulnerable by improving their ability to access these programs and services. We have all either been in situations where we don't know where to turn or know someone who has. The following slide lists some situations that either ourselves or someone we know has been in at some point in their lives. So it's a bit overwhelming, but sometimes this is the reality, and this is what it's like when you're trying to find programs or services. You reach out, you call different numbers, you send different emails to different email addresses, and either no one seems to help you with your questions, or nobody knows where to redirect you, or you get redirect after redirect after redirect until you find the right contact information. And how does it make you feel? A lot of people will say it makes them feel angry, it makes them feel frustrated, it makes them feel stressed. And as mentioned previously, it can take up to 7 phone calls for people to find the social or community service they need. How many people make it past 3 or 4 calls, much less 7, if they keep hearing the word no, or the phrase, I can't help you, or let me reconnect? It's important to note that Nova Scotia 211 does not offer programs and services directly. Our role is to direct people to the services they need that are available in their community, so that the previous slide you saw becomes this. So what happens during a 211 call? What can people expect? Not only for themselves, but for their clients, for their parents, their neighbors, their friends. Now, when someone has a question or isn't sure who to call or what organization does what, they can simply dial 211 and find out what is available to them. This slide shows just a few scenarios we've received. However, daily we receive calls from people looking for all different kinds of help or support. 211 is for anyone and everyone seeking resources, from youth and seniors to new parents and someone trying to find supports for an aging parent. It's also for newcomers, students, caring professionals, emergency responders, people with disabilities, volunteers, and more. So here's an example of a call scenario. And just keep in mind that these names have been changed to respect confidentiality. Kate is a single mom with a young daughter who called 211 after learning that the best way to enhance her daughter's reading ability was through online literacy courses. Kate did not own nor could she afford to buy a computer. And in conversation with a 211 navigator, Kate revealed that she herself was unable to read and wanted to learn so she could help her daughter. The 211 specialist contacted a nonprofit organization that provides refurbished computer equipment to people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford it. Within a week, Kate received a complete computer system, including speakers, so that her and her daughter could learn to read together. So here's how 211 works. For example, if a person expresses a need for food support, our navigators will try to determine if there are other needs as well. Is the need for food support due to a job loss? If so, would employment services be applicable? If food support is needed, are there other financial assistance also required? So what they do is they'll talk to the caller and they'll find out what else is going on in their lives. A lot of their time, it's more than just one issue. It stems from several different issues. So our navigators will go above and beyond to ensure that all of their needs are met instead of just answering their one question or giving them the one referral. They'll go that extra mile for the caller, which is great. So here's an overview of our 2020 here at 211. 2020 was by far our busiest year yet. This is because of COVID. We've had a 12% increase in calls from 2019 to 2020. We have served as Nova Scotia's trusted provider of information since 2013, and as expected, incoming call volumes increased significantly for 2020 because of the pandemic, exceeding pre-pandemic monthly averages by as much as 40%. The onset of the pandemic impacted the delivery of programs and services in every community. And as public safety measures designed to limit contact were implemented, some services were ground to a halt, some were reduced, and in many cases, organizations pivoted to develop entirely new ways of delivering services. Even as we pass our Q1 of our 2021 year, the majority of our calls are actually COVID related. In fact, for the month of April alone, 30% of our calls are related to COVID. And we are also doing call intake for programs in the province, such as the Food Box program from Feed Nova Scotia. This, for example, had a large impact on the number of calls coming in to our navigators. In addition, we also had to pause our online chat platform and our text feature due to the influx of calls we are getting. So we paused that just because our calls are so high and our navigators can only answer so many calls and do the chat feature and do the text. So we just put a pause on that for now, but we hope to revamp that in the coming months as things start to slow down. So here's another call scenario. Martin called 211 after being diagnosed with a disease that confined him to a wheelchair. The family home did not have a wheelchair ramp. He and his wife were not eligible for a housing grant to build one due to an increase in family income after she received the caregiver's benefit. After the call, the 211 navigator contacted a nonprofit that supplies materials and volunteer labor to build ramps for people who are not otherwise eligible for help. Even though the nonprofit normally restricts their support to diseases that weren't affecting Martin, they felt that his case deserved special consideration and they built the much needed ramp for him. So when you call 211, we don't need to know your name, your phone number, your SIN number, or any personal information. The only thing we do need to know is your location. Our navigators will ask for a postal code, as this will help us determine where our calls are coming from and is helpful for our data collection. In addition, it wouldn't be very helpful to give someone a resource in a community 4 hours away from them. So we either need to know the community or county that you are in to ensure that the referrals you're given are appropriate. Understanding who our clientele are is critical to providing the best possible level of customer service. While we don't collect any personal information, we do record a lot of demographic detail on who's using the service. Looking at this information actually helps us identify the gaps so that we can do outreach with people in the smaller percentage areas and maybe encourage those who do know about our service in those areas to engage with us on social media and help spread information about 211 Nova Scotia. The other demographics captured organically throughout the course of the call is age and caller type. So whether someone is calling for themselves, a friend, a family member, a service provider calling on behalf of the client. The majority of 211 callers in Nova Scotia are 35 to 54-year-old adults at around 43%, followed by adults aged 55 to 64 at 27.2%. Seniors 65 and over are close at 21.8%. Many of the callers in the 34 to 54-year-old category are calling for their senior parents. For example, they're looking for resources to keep their aging parents in their homes. We do not receive many calls from youth, although with the addition of the text and chat feature, which is currently on hold due to high call volumes. But we hope that this will encourage youth to contact us, because we know a lot of them tend to not be as comfortable using the phone and calling directly. In 2020, only 8% of calls were received from those ages 19 to 34, and only 0.1% from youth. We think a reason for this is that Kids Help Phone is widely known as a resource to help kids and youth, and there's a possibility that a lot of people view 211 as a seniors helpline, but this is untrue. A big part of Jeff and my focus for 2021 as a part of our strategic plan is to do more outreach to schools and with the education system to reach more children and youth, to let them know that 211 is here to help. We also hope to connect with more communities and grow our social media platforms to increase our reach so that more people know about 211 and the service we provide. A key component of the 211 value proposition, right after helping people find the service they need, is the data we collect on needs. We can sort data by needs within community, and we can identify how many referrals were made to any particular service provider, as well as many other factors about the needs of populations we serve. This slide shows the needs in Nova Scotia for the year 2020. All of these callers called inquiring about the topics you see to the left and were given referrals from our call navigators. There was a total of 36,598 calls from Nova Scotians in 2020. And as you can see in the slide, the top needs in the province are food bank support, grocery ordering and delivery inquiries, and COVID-19 inquiries, followed by utility assistance, such as needing help paying for a power bill, for example. Unmet social needs exist across all types of people and are seen either because there are insufficient resources or the services available do not meet the required standards of quality. A lot of common unmet needs are income, employment, education, food security, housing, transportation, and social support. And basically what it means is that someone in a specific area needs help with X, and in turn, there are no programs or services to help support them. For 2020, this is a graph showing the unmet needs in the province. All of these callers called inquiring about the topics you see to the left, and were unable to receive referrals from our call navigators. And this could be for a number of reasons, like they didn't qualify for certain programs, or that the programs didn't exist, or that the services they required maybe didn't exist in their specific area. The most common unmet needs in the province was inquiries about homeless shelters, although I'm not sure why it's there twice. I think it's just duplicated in our database. Grocery ordering and delivery, and housing search and information. By documenting this information, we can now start to identify gaps in the province and regionally. This information is as, if not more important, as the identified needs in the previous slide. Our website is another great resource that you can use. Similar to the referrals you would get when you call 211, the website also gives you referrals to programs and services in your area. And it's because our database that our call navigators use also lives on our website. The picture in the slide shows how you navigate the programs and services. You can filter through them or use the search bar at the top to get your results. Some of the key features of our website are that we have over thousands of programs and services on there. We update our database quite frequently. Users can search services by need or location. Our online database is mobile friendly, and our website can be translated in multiple languages, such as French, Cantonese, Arabic, and more. And just to also add to that, our calls are also available in over 150 languages, I believe, as well. So the 211 database is everyone's database, because our funding comes largely from the provincial government and also from the United Ways across the province. And our database is only as good as the information provided to us. So if you have a listing or you're searching through our website and you see something that you know should be there, please let us know. You can let us know by calling 211 and talking to one of our navigators, or you can scroll down on the main page of the website, and to the bottom right, you'll see a button that just says suggest a listing. Also, if you can't find a resource or have trouble finding a resource, you can call us at 211. We will do the research to help you and see if we can find something available. The nonprofit world is really flexible, and there may not be a formal program, but the connections our staff have made with service providers may mean that they know of somebody who can help you. For example, we had a lady call asking for assistance moving. She was being evicted the next day, and although she had a new place to go and everything packed, she couldn't afford to pay movers to help her with her furniture. And unfortunately, there are no moving programs in the province. However, our staff thought it through and contacted a local service provider who they knew had a moving truck. And the organization did not have a program to assist with moving, but they said that they were not using the truck the next day and would happily go help her move furniture. So if you have a situation that may require advocacy or potentially additional supports or research, we suggest calling Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. when calls are answered in Nova Scotia from one of our call navigators. After hours and on weekends, our calls get rerouted to Toronto Find Help, who do an excellent job taking our calls and providing information. But since they answer calls after hours, they're unable to establish those relationships that our service providers and the staff in Nova Scotia have already established. Also during the day, our staff can contact organizations and nonprofits, while at 9 p.m. in the evening, Toronto Find Help would be unable to.